Alright, what's happening YouTube? Chief J here. We're back in my lovely, messy garage. Last week, we did the 10 things or so that I hate about my DRZ 400, and I lost track of how many I did. I think I did 10, maybe I didn't. Whatever, we're gonna try to do better this time. And this time we're doing it for my 2006 Yamaha FZ6. So let's just jump in and get started with number 1. Wow, that was a weird voice. Whatever, no cuts, we're doing it raw, we're doing it live. So number 1 is, in 2006, Yamaha switched over to a blacked out frame, engine, subframe, swing arm, the whole thing, right? The years before that, it was silver. You know what they didn't change? The rear set and the passenger pegs. I suppose you could kind of argue the bolt heads and stuff, but that's not as much of an issue. Why? Why is this still silver? Did they have leftovers, I guess, from the previous years? Why didn't they think, you know, we're gonna black out all this, let's stick some silver right there? No, it would have looked better all blacked out. Is that a minor pet peeve? Yes, it is. Is it still something I hate? Yes. Maybe eventually I'll change them, maybe I'll get them powder coated, I don't know. I'll probably just swap out for aftermarket rear sets at some point. And when I do, they're gonna be black. Okay, number 2. Look at this here shift linkage. You see that? You see how it actually has to have a part of the frame, like right here, that it has to go through? You know what that means? That means, number 1, can't swap it over to GP shift, because that would mean swapping the linkage over to the other side, and you can't do that because the frame's in the way. Number 2, this thing is pretty much a Rubik's Cube to take apart. And that's going to continue with a couple other things on the bike. But yeah, so there's the first little inkling of my major pet peeve with this bike. This thing is difficult to work with. Okay, number 3. Let's move up over here and let's take a look at these mirrors. So these are stock mirrors. Yeah, they're ugly, they're huge, whatever. I don't care, frankly. You know what I do care about? I care that they don't fold. They're stuck in this position. And that means that I can't even count the number of times that I've hit this left side mirror with my DRZ when I've been trying to pull the DRZ out or park this bike or whatever. Yeah, so please, why? Why is it like that? All right, so let's go into this area, the cluster, the gauge area, and let's move on to number 4 of the things that I hate. Number 4 is this gauge cluster. All right, so this gauge cluster, like on paper, it's pretty functional, but the implementation is not that great. There's no gear indicator. I do have a gear indicator, but it's aftermarket, so there's no stock gear indicator. But that's not a huge, that's not a huge issue, whatever. First over here, you'll notice there are 5 little things. This doesn't do anything. You've got oil, check engine, neutral, high beam, low beam. And then this, which has no light in it, no symbol, nothing. Were they trying to make it symmetrical? I guess, but why have this 5th empty, do nothing little, let's just get in there. Yeah, I bet you like that. All right, but the main problem I have with this. So the 636, the older 636, like the 04, 05, or 03, 04, and I think maybe the 05, 06s have it as well, but I know for a fact the 03, 04s do, is people complain about the tack being that LED tack. This is much worse. This is an LCD tachometer. And when you're in the sun, it's next to useless. Let me try to show you guys here. So there's a bit of a blue glow, which is, it's decent, and it's pretty visible at night, but let's turn the bike on here and I'll rev it up so you can watch that tachometer and how, imagine how hard that is to see in the South Florida sun, and you'll kind of get why this is a peeve of mine. So let's yeah, pretty terrible, right? So that's next to useless. That's like 2 steps above useless. But hey, I guess my DRZ doesn't have a tachometer at all, so I should be blessed. So yeah, that's a thing. So that was number 4, right? Yeah, number 4. Number 5, Maintenance on this bike. Let's get to the next thing that kind of follows that trend of origami, whatever have you, with the shift linkage. So on sport bikes, or most bikes I guess, but I know sport bikes for a fact, you can lift the tank up to work on the airbox because the airbox sits under the gas tank. Well, on this bike, the hinge is back here, you've got 2 bolts here, and this lifts up. Except you can't do that immediately because you actually have to remove these black plastic panels on each side because they overlap over the tank. And yeah, so you can't lift the tank and work on the airbox. And to do that, you have these 2 bolts on the side here. You have these bolts on the inside, and then you have to pop these covers off the mirror. There's more screws in here, and on top of that, like actually getting it off, it's a hassle. It's a pain. I don't like it. I mean, I don't know. I'm no designer. I don't know how they could have made it better, but maybe if this was sculpted away a little more so you could just pull the tank off, whatever. Yeah, I don't like that. So that's number 5, right? Yeah, number 5. Number 6, continuing on this whole gauge cluster area, is the headlights, on the opposite of everything else, are actually really easy to work on because the quick disconnect is right here. But on the flip side, it looks ugly. Yeah, there's no pleasing me, I know. Either things look good and they're too hard to work on, or else they're easy to work on but they're ugly. Isn't there like a middle ground somewhere, please? I mean, there's gotta be, right? Whatever. Anyways, number 6, that's what it is. Number 7, this has been fixed with these aftermarket adjustable levers that I have, but the stock levers on this bike are junk. You get a stock adjustable brake lever, which is decent, I guess. It looks like a boomerang or something. It's pretty hideous, but you know, it works. But then the clutch lever is terrible. It's non-adjustable, and it's like way out here, and you know, it's such a stretch. And on this bike, the thing is, the clutch engagement is right at the end of the lever. Like, this is obviously fully engaged, and then that's fully disengaged. That's it. Like, that little bit of movement. You don't have to go all the way in like this. Like on my DRZ, it's about like halfway to full disengagement. But yeah, with the lever all the way out, it's now impossible to be smooth with your shifts. It's terrible. So yeah, number 7. Number 8, let's go around to the back. And these exhausts, I love these exhausts so much. The Leo Vince SBK carbons, okay? They sound amazing. They look pretty good, I think. Except for one thing. The brown, I guess carbon deposit or whatever, I don't know. I've tried to clean these a lot of times, and it keeps happening. My mix is good, like the tune is fine on this bike. It's just the nature of these exhausts, I guess. I've read on the forums, pretty much everybody that has these or any sort of, I don't know if it's a titanium tip or not, but yeah, it's one of those things that happens, and it looks cruddy, you know. Not to mention how dirty the bike is right now. That's another thing that makes it look cruddy, but hey, whatever. That is what it is. So that's number 8, I think, right? Did I skip one? Whatever. Let's just say it's number 8. And number 9 would probably be the fact that the rear end on this bike, there's not really a good way to clean it up. And I know the best way to clean it up right now would be to give it a wash and remove the rag off of my license plate, but you know, that's not what I'm talking about here. So this is part of the bracket for the original stock ugly plate holder thing. And I have I'll try to kind of sculpt it so you can see how my plate sits. I have this aftermarket plate holder, which bolts on here, and then that's my little LED plate light. But I actually have my turn signals mounted to the old bracket because, first off, I have stock turn signals. I know I'll figure out something to change them, but I didn't actually want to move them because the plate bracket has holes for them right over here, but they'd stick out like really far, and I like them having them like kind of more tucked away like this. So even actually with aftermarket stuff, I'm probably gonna leave them here because I think it looks tidier. But then, you know, you're gonna have a wire hanging over here. There's not really any way around that. I could route it up, try to route it up higher, but then I'm worried the heat from the exhaust will mess the wiring up. And yeah, there's just not really any way to me that's easy to make that back end look as clean as I would like it to. But such is life, I guess. And such is life with undertail exhausts for the most part, at least the way this bike has its undertails designed. Number 10, the last one. Oh, that's I'll be honest, I didn't plan that far ahead. Look at me, I'm great. Now number 10 would probably be the height of the stock windshield. And I know a lot of, oh, is that my face? I'm gonna have to blur that. Okay, so I know a lot of people talk about like, well, you can just change the windscreen out, and that's true. But the stock windscreen has literally like, I can't see how they could have made it worse, at least for my height. So when I sit on the bike here, all right, normal riding position here, the stock screen directs the wind onto my neck, like directly onto my neck. If it was a little higher, it would hit my helmet and it wouldn't be a problem. If it was a little lower, it would hit my chest, and I honestly prefer that, but it hits the one of the only like exposed parts of my body when I'm riding. And you know, that just, I don't know. Why couldn't they make it just a little bit taller? Why couldn't they make it a little bit shorter? Why does it have to be hitting me in the like 2-inch gap that is my neck when I'm hunched over? How does that work? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed my terrible nitpicking of a bike that I overall absolutely love and enjoy every second of riding. But hey, it is what it is. Nothing is perfect. So that's my 10 things that I hate about this beautiful FZ6. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.